British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
From the Broadcast Center at BCIT's Burnaby Campus, this is All Talk Radio. You're listening to 1680 The Crow.
Hello, I'm Melanie Levesque, and this is today's news on 1680 The Crow. Nearly 13,000 people were left without power on Vancouver Island due to windstorm conditions this morning. Some areas of the island are still experiencing power outage, while others have had power restored. Winds on the island are expected to decrease in the early evening. Also today, the government issued a temperature warning for Victoria, telling citizens to be prepared for colder weather and conditions that could lead to power outages. Several ferries set to leave Swartz Bay and Tsawwassen were cancelled this morning due to forecasted winds and storms. BC Ferries is monitoring the weather as the day continues and will provide updates throughout to travelers. Due to improved conditions, a sailing at 11 a.m. was allowed to leave. Families hoping to bring their families to Canada from Gaza are eligible for a number of visas today. Rob Westgate of the Canadian Press has more.
Palestinian Canadians have petitioned the federal government to allow their extended family members to escape the violence that has gripped the Palestinian territory since the conflict between Hamas and Israel began back in October. Canada's existing program is available to immediate family members of Canadians, including spouses and children. The expansion will add parents, grandparents, adult children, grandchildren, and siblings of Canadians and Canadian permanent residents, as well as their immediate family members. Rob Westgate, The Canadian Press.
Officials confirm the number of visas is limited due to the complexities of traveling over the Egypt border. New Westminster City Council has passed a motion calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. Reporter Nicholas Petras talked to the councillor who represented the motion, as well as a local community member who is one of the many to attend the meeting.
New Westminster has become the third city in the Lower Mainland after Maple Ridge and Burnaby to pass a motion to send a letter to the Prime Minister calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. The motion was passed unanimously, despite two council members leaving the chamber in order not to vote. Councillor Nadine Nakagawa, the councillor who brought the motion to council, says she was very happy to see the community members come and see the motion being passed.
Well, I think what is exciting to me is having people who we haven't necessarily seen in council chambers before come to the city, express their views. And so I look forward to having them continue to be active on local issues, to continue to express what they need and want from the city.
Elise Gawley, a resident who spoke in support of the motion, says that the motion passing made for an emotional night and is happy to see New Westminster staying on track with their human rights declarations. Nicholas Poitras, BCIT, The Crow.
Our reporter Nicholas joins us now with more information. Nick, what was the mood like at the council chamber?
Well, Melanie, the mood was very tense. There was a lot on both sides of the council chamber. There was a lot of people not yelling, but there was a lot of murmurs. Some members of the council chamber even left because they felt that the vote was not worthy of them to be able to talk about. And overall, it was a very tense mood, but overall, I think it ended up very well. And
what's next for the motion?
What's next for the motion? There's not really a clear timeline on what's next for the motion, but what I do know from talking to Councillor Nakagawa was that Nakagawa is going to try to continue working with the Palestinian community in New Westminster to keep finding more ways to help.
Thanks, Nick. BC's Transport Minister Rob Fleming has written to the federal government calling for the closure of road safety gaps. He says this would help to avoid dangerous consequences for trucking companies with unsafe practices. He was motivated to write the letter by the several incidents of trucks and cargo colliding with overpasses. BC's police watchdog has decided an RCMP officer was justified in shooting a man near Brary in May of 2022. Despite there being no footage of the event, the shooting was determined to have occurred as an act of self-defense. The man shot was seriously injured but managed to survive after the subject officer applied a clotting agent to the wound and brought him to a nearby hospital. The injured man claimed he was exiting his vehicle to shoot a deer and held his hunting rifle pointed at the ground when an officer approached him and shot him before he could realize what was happening. The Transportation Safety Board says external corrosion resulted in a natural gas pipeline rupture near a community in northern Alberta. Escaped gas caused and ignited a fire that self-extinguishes after the valves were closed. The board found that the system meant to protect the pipes from corrosion wasn't working as expected, perhaps due to proximity with another pipeline or soil conditions. The RCMP has failed to meet a self-imposed guideline to explain revised safety measures after a mass shooting in Nova Scotia almost 4 years ago. Michael McDonald has more.
When the Mass Casualty Commission released its report last March, the Mounties said they would release an implementation strategy before the end of 2023, but that deadline has come and gone. Earlier today, the police force issued a statement confirming it is still working on the plan, but no deadline was provided. The inquiry's report offered a blistering critique of the RCMP's actions in April 2020, when a man disguised as a Mountie fatally shot 22 people in Nova Scotia. The inquiry found the RCMP's response was badly flawed, and it said Ottawa should rethink its central role in Canadian policing. Michael McDonald, The Canadian Press, Halifax.
Also, the RCMP says it will be collecting race-based data in select locations this month to provide more understanding about the police's interaction with various communities. Emily Javitsky of the Canadian Press has more.
The National Police Force says the data about the use of force, arrests, and routine checks will provide evidence-based information to help improve how officers serve a diverse population. The Mounties plan to collect, analyze, and report the data to gain insight into the experiences of Indigenous peoples, as well as Black and other racialized individuals in dealing with officers. The pilot project comes more than 3 years after then RCMP Commissioner Brenda Lucki acknowledged that systemic racism exists in the police force. Emily Joveski, The Canadian Press.
Canadian bank RBC is expecting to put more money aside for bad loans this year. Michael Zakatikan of the Canadian Press has more.
RBC Chief Executive Dave Mackay told the bank's conference attendees that he expects to see credit loss provisions peak this year as some business lending remains strained. He says mortgage holders, however, are adapting to higher payments with the help of higher wages and savings softening the blow. Meanwhile, Scotiabank Chief Executive Scott Thompson says he also expects higher provisions for bad loans, but sees a more steady path this year after 2023's restructuring efforts. Michelle Zadikian, The Canadian Press.
A man filmed attacking a judge in a Las Vegas court appeared in court again today to face new counts related to the incident. Alex Stone of ABC News has more.
Hello, are you Mr. Redden?
Wearing a surgical mask and shackles, Deober Redden appeared in front of a new judge on a list of charges stemming from his attack seen on video that went viral as he jumped, flying over the bench of Judge Mary Kay Holthus last week. The new judge laying out the many new counts.
Count 1, attempt murder, victim 60 years of age or older, a felony.
Redden will not be able to post bail because he's already in jail in the previous battery case he was being sentenced for when he was seen attacking the judge.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is.
The U.S. National Transport Board is investigating the possibility that last week's incident involving an Alaska Airlines Boeing 737 MAX could have occurred due to faulty or missing doorbells. Alex Stone of ABC News has more.
Lead NTSB investigator Jennifer Homendy is raising the possibility the door plug bolts were not on the door when it blew out.
Possibly the bolts weren't there at all.
That door found in a Portland teacher's backyard is being sent to a lab for analysis to see if the bolts broke. United and Alaska Airlines report they have found loose hardware on their identical planes. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Last year has been named the warmest year on record, and temperatures are expected to rise. Rita Foley of the Associated Press has details.
2023 was off the charts warm, according to the European Climate Agency, Copernicus. It says 2023 broke the global annual heat record, coming in 2.66 degrees Fahrenheit above pre-industrial times. The record heat made life miserable and sometimes deadly here in North America, in Europe, China, and many other places last year. And that's not all. This month, January of 2024, is on track to be so warm that for the first time, a 12-month period will exceed the limit that the world hoped to stay within in the 2015 Paris Climate Accord to avoid the most severe effects of warming, says Copernicus. I'm Rita Foley.
The Vancouver Canucks, now for sports. The Vancouver Canucks beat the New York Rangers yesterday 6-3. Ulysses Patterson achieved 2 goals and 2 assists. Here's the call on Sportsnet 650 as Hoglander scores in the second period.
Carry back to center by Benino. Centering feed intercepted by Hronek. Here's Pius Suter across the Ranger line. Suter near circle. Backhand pass. Right side. Hoglander with a beautiful deke. Oh my word, he scores. Niels Hoglander behind his own back. Tucks it in past Shesterkin for his second of the night. And it's 5-2 Canucks.
Canadian Benedict Mathurin scored 26 points against the Boston Celtics, leading the Indiana Pacers to victory. Here's the call as he makes a free throw in the fourth quarter for a 132 to 131 lead.
Mathurin shoots 3. He is 3 of 4 in this game, and now 4 of 5. Well, whether this team wins or loses, 99% of the time you're getting your money's worth if you come out here.
Now for local weather. Today in Vancouver it is 8 degrees and mostly cloudy with wind. Tomorrow showers are expected. Throughout the week, snow and rain are forecasted with a high of 6 degrees and a low of -3 degrees. There are snow-related weather warnings in place for the Ski to Sky and Coquihalla highways. That's all for the news today. I'm Melanie Levesque, and this is 1680 The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
The fact that we're in a smaller group environment compared to other schools, I find that the camaraderie between like your colleagues or classmates is really good.
The reason why I chose this program here at BCIT is because of the hands-on experience. We're always doing assignments that follow the industry standards. So once I graduate and I find my first job, I feel pretty confident that I'll have the skills that I need.
BCIT campus where the gardening club just planted these trees. So in the BCIT Journalism program, I learned how to use the professional cameras to film our own news stories, and also the soundboards and mics in the radio booth to host shows for our radio station. I'm Kate Renault in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
What I like about this program is the hands-on experience. Every day I'm honing the skills that I'll use in my future career.
The fact that we're in a smaller group environment compared to other schools, I find that the camaraderie between like your colleagues or classmates is really good.
The reason why I chose this program here at BCIT is because of the hands-on experience. We're always doing assignments that follow the industry standards. So once I graduate and I find my first job, I feel pretty confident that I'll have the skills that I need.
BCIT campus where the gardening club just planted these trees. So in the BCIT Journalism program, I learned how to use the professional cameras to film our own news stories, and also the soundboards and mics in the radio booth to host shows for our radio station. I'm Kate Renault in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
What I like about this program is the hands-on experience. Every day I'm honing the skills that I'll use in my future career.
The fact that we're in a smaller group environment compared to other schools, I find that the camaraderie between like your colleagues or classmates is really good.
The reason why I chose this program here at BCIT is because of the hands-on experience. We're always doing assignments that follow the industry standards. So once I graduate and I find my first job, I feel pretty confident that I'll have the skills that I need.
BCIT campus where the gardening club just planted these trees. So in the BCIT Journalism program, I learned how to use the professional cameras to film our own news stories, and also the soundboards and mics in the radio booth to host shows for our radio station. I'm Kate Renault in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
What I like about this program is the hands-on experience. Every day I'm honing the skills that I'll use in my future career.
The fact that we're in a smaller group environment compared to other schools, I find that the camaraderie between like your colleagues or classmates is really good.
The reason why I chose this program here at BCIT is because of the hands-on experience. We're always doing assignments that follow the industry standards. So once I graduate and I find my first job, I feel pretty confident that I'll have the skills that I need.
BCIT campus where the gardening club just planted these trees. So in the BCIT Journalism program, I learned how to use the professional cameras to film our own news stories, and also the soundboards and mics in the radio booth to host shows for our radio station. I'm Kate Renault in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
What I like about this program is the hands-on experience. Every day I'm honing the skills that I'll use in my future career.
The fact that we're in a smaller group environment compared to other schools, I find that the camaraderie between like your colleagues or classmates is really good.
The reason why I chose this program here at BCIT is because of the hands-on experience. We're always doing assignments that follow the industry standards. So once I graduate and I find my first job, I feel pretty confident that I'll have the skills that I need.
BCIT campus where the gardening club just planted these trees. So in the BCIT Journalism program, I learned how to use the professional cameras to film our own news stories, and also the soundboards and mics in the radio booth to host shows for our radio station. I'm Kate Renault in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
What I like about this program is the hands-on experience. Every day I'm honing the skills that I'll use in my future career.
The fact that we're in a smaller group environment compared to other schools, I find that the camaraderie between like your colleagues or classmates is really good.
The reason why I chose this program here at BCIT is because of the hands-on experience. We're always doing assignments that follow the industry standards. So once I graduate and I find my first job, I feel pretty confident that I'll have the skills that I need.
BCIT campus where the gardening club just planted these trees. So in the BCIT Journalism program, I learned how to use the professional cameras to film our own news stories, and also the soundboards and mics in the radio booth to host shows for our radio station. I'm Kate Renault in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
What I like about this program is the hands-on experience. Every day I'm honing the skills that I'll use in my future career.
The fact that we're in a smaller group environment compared to other schools, I find that the camaraderie between like your colleagues or classmates is really good.
The reason why I chose this program here at BCIT is because of the hands-on experience. We're always doing assignments that follow the industry standards. So once I graduate and I find my first job, I feel pretty confident that I'll have the skills that I need.
the BCIT campus where the gardening club just planted these trees. So in the BCIT Journalism program, I learned how to use the professional cameras to film our own news stories, and also the soundboards and mics in the radio booth to host shows for our radio station. I'm Kate Renault in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
What I like about this program is the hands-on experience. Every day I'm honing the skills that I'll use in my future career.
The fact that we're in a smaller group environment compared to other schools, I find that the camaraderie between like your colleagues or classmates is really good.
The reason why I chose this program here at BCIT is because of the hands-on experience. We're always doing assignments that follow the industry standards. So once I graduate and I find my first job, I feel pretty confident that I'll have the skills that I need.
BCIT campus where the gardening club just planted these trees. So in the BCIT Journalism program, I learned how to use the professional cameras to film our own news stories, and also the soundboards and mics in the radio booth to host shows for our radio station. I'm Kate Renault in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
What I like about this program is the hands-on experience. Every day I'm honing the skills that I'll use in my future career.
The fact that we're in a smaller group environment compared to other schools, I find that the camaraderie between like your colleagues or classmates is really good.
The reason why I chose this program here at BCIT is because of the hands-on experience. We're always doing assignments that follow the industry standards. So once I graduate and I find my first job, I feel pretty confident that I'll have the skills that I need.
BCIT campus where the gardening club just planted these trees. So in the BCIT Journalism program, I learned how to use the professional cameras to film our own news stories, and also the soundboards and mics in the radio booth to host shows for our radio station. I'm Kate Renault in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
What I like about this program is the hands-on experience. Every day I'm honing the skills that I'll use in my future career.
The fact that we're in a smaller group environment compared to other schools, I find that the camaraderie between like your colleagues or classmates is really good.
The reason why I chose this program here at BCIT is because of the hands-on experience. We're always doing assignments that follow the industry standards. So once I graduate and I find my first job, I feel pretty confident that I'll have the skills that I need.
BCIT campus where the gardening club just planted these trees. So in the BCIT Journalism program, I learned how to use the professional cameras to film our own news stories, and also the soundboards and mics in the radio booth to host shows for our radio station. I'm Kate Renault in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
This is 1680 The Crow, and you're listening to our feature presentation.
Sushi is one of the most popular dishes in the world. But is sushi as we know it in Canada the same as it is in Japan? What do masters of the craft think about sushi here?
We have to do something new too. That one is not the deep fried sushi.
Not that.
No, not that way.
There's no doubt that Canadian food culture is heavily influenced by immigration. Vancouver's food scene is known for being incredibly rich in diversity, including some of the best Chinese food that can be found outside China. As a coastal city, we also have an abundance of seafood, which means dishes like sushi that utilize a lot of seafood are found everywhere. With all the different ethnic communities that call BC home, there is no shortage of cuisines to try. The variety of cuisine that lines our streets is a testament that immigrants continue to change local food culture. But is the reverse the same? Are our food preferences also changing traditional cuisine? The answer to this question is a little less obvious. For example, fortune cookies are ubiquitous in Chinese restaurants across North America. In the Western world, they are a symbol of Chinese cuisine and even culture. But did you know that fortune cookies are not found in China? The fortune cookie is actually a Japanese invention that was brought to America. My name is Tammy Mack. Welcome to Let Them Cook, a series where we explore how foreign food culture shifts and evolves when it travels the globe and becomes acquainted with new audience. This is episode 1, Mr. Yoshida. The California roll that is a staple in every sushi restaurant here was invented in Vancouver by chef Hidekazu Tojo, a Japanese Canadian and the namesake of Tojo's on Broadway, although there has been some debate about how accurate this is. Chef Tojo also claims to have been the pioneer of the inside-out style of sushi. Traditionally, sushi ingredients are wrapped in a seaweed wrapper facing the outside. However, Chef Tojo, sensing a local distaste for seaweed, instead wrapped his rolls in reverse order, with the rice on the outside and the seaweed hidden inside. Chef Tojo is also credited with other iconic rolls like the BC roll, rainbow roll, golden roll, and my personal favorite, the spider roll. He's also known as the first sushi chef to incorporate smoked salmon into sushi. Chef Tojo has become an ambassador of a sort for this new Canadian style of sushi. His innovations have proved more than a little successful, expanding to as far as Europe. Other sushi chefs have followed suit, including California rolls and the like in their menu. But what's it like as an authentic sushi chef navigating a market that already knows what it likes?
Deep fried rolls, put on the sauce on top.
Deep fried
yeah. And the dragon rolls. Yeah. That's more they like it. Yeah, but it's a business, right? If they like it, I gotta do it. Yeah, if they don't like it, I don't do it.
That was Chef Yoshida, a sushi chef walking the line between following local trends and adhering to his traditional cooking style. We'll meet him after the break.
This episode is sponsored by Marks. Visit your local Marks today for a wide variety of high-quality brands, ranging from Helly Hansen and Columbia to Carhartt and Levi's. Marks, all things simple.
Let's start by transporting to Yoshida Sushi, a modest, homey restaurant located near the intersection between Victoria Drive and 41st Avenue in Vancouver. The decor is simple, with wooden accents reminiscent of old restaurants in Tokyo. Owner and chef Ko Yoshida tells us they're still in their first year of business. Despite that, they've garnered a 4.8-star rating on Google. Out of 102 Google reviews, the majority of them are rave reviews, with the words delicious, fresh, and best repeated over and over again. Many praise their omakase set for its value and quality. Ko was born and raised in Japan, where he worked part-time for a few years before moving here as a 22-year-old. Most of his cooking experience comes from working in various sushi restaurants in Vancouver, so many he can't keep count. When asked about his experience transitioning from cooking in Japan to cooking in Canada, he only had 2 things to say.
When I have North American food first time, so much mayonnaise, right? Deep fried mayonnaise, but Japanese doesn't have much that one. So very hard to, adjust to the North American style, because in Japan it has not much rolls. Just a nigiri and sashimi. Nigiri size is much smaller than here. They have a 1 bite size, but in here almost a 2 bite size. That's very hard to adjust it.
He mentions that over his career, he's noticed that people are looking for something different, speaking to the global trend towards eating healthier.
But now I think I don't need to do too much, because customer want to eat more original Japanese food. But I just a little bit sweeter than Japanese food. That's a more, good for everybody. Used to be 20, 30 years ago. We have to put more mayonnaise and the deep fry, but now more healthier, right?
Ko also tells us that what his clientele wants changes depending on which neighborhood he's in. He says this location on Victoria Drive attracts a predominantly Asian demographic that doesn't care too much for rolls, but likes a lot of fresh fish, especially scallop and eel. On the other hand, to serve a predominantly white demographic, he would have to include the likes of deep fried rolls to stay afloat. Now, deep-fried California rolls aren't found in traditional Japanese food, of course, and Ko was quite candid about how he feels about them.
My opinion, there's no meaning to deep fry the rolls because the rice is already cooked. Then deep fry again is no make sense. So before cooked, then deep fry, and I understand. But after make a steam rice, then deep fry again, no make sense.
I wondered how he balanced adjusting to what his customers want versus how he feels sushi should be. He says that he remains committed to Japanese cooking styles, but part of the philosophy of Japanese cooking is to use fresh, quality ingredients, which is why he utilizes fresh, local fish, but he's also open to innovating with new ingredients.
But I wanna do more Japanese food. Yeah, not North American food. Yeah. That's my policy. Japanese food has a pretty much long history, right? Then many people try and error, try to find the best way for Japanese food. So, but we have to do something new too. That one is not the deep fried sushi.
Not that.
No, not that way. Yeah, but use a local new fish, create, that's more Japanese style. So I have to find a new product, new vegetables. I'm using a local Dungeness crab, the BC spot prawns, sockeye salmon, and albacore tunas, and sea urchin too. And ikura, yeah, that's all local.
Cooking philosophy differs from chef to chef. You could ask the same question 1,000 times and still get a different answer each time, as long as you're asking different chefs. This is why there can be several renditions of something as simple as a California roll. Every time a chef reinterprets and puts their spin on it, the California roll is reinvented, becoming something that's in a constant state of being changed and reworked. It's this process that gives way to renditions like the controversial deep-fried California roll. Wow, did you think you would be hearing about drama in the sushi world today? From hearing about Ko's early observations on North American food culture, we can already predict what the inspirations for the deep-fried California roll were, which ironically involves both deep frying and mayonnaise. Oyama Sushi, located on Kingsway and Royal Oak in Burnaby, is a Korean-owned Japanese restaurant that serves deep-fried rolls and other fusion rolls, like one called the hash brown roll. Mohammed Imran Udin, who has been working at Oyama as a sushi chef for 2 years, says their menu was developed based on the clientele's tastes.
So I found that like in Japanese style is a little bit different rather than in Western, like let's say Canada, America, US, like the sushi is a little bit different. So like I think based on the customer demand, they develop the menus.
Mohammed employs a whatever makes them happy philosophy when it comes to cooking. Rather than adhering to a grander cooking style, Mohammed is just happy to see his customers enjoy his food with a smile on their face.
I love to see customers smile face. That make me really happy. So just make the customer and make the people happy is my philosophy.
Between someone like Mr. Yoshida, who has a more of a traditional, principled take on sushi, and someone like Mohammed, whose primary goal is to make his customers happy, we get a sense of the sort of struggles going through the mind of someone bringing their traditional cooking to a new country. While cooking philosophy surely plays a role, we can't forget that things like remaining profitable and being able to sustain themselves are probably huge factors as well. How each chef juggles the balance between these factors is what makes the conversation about evolving food cultures and the work of immigrants a never-ending story. Thanks for listening to this week's episode. I'd like to give a special thank you to Mr. Ko Yoshida and Mr. Mohammed Imran Udin for taking time out of their busy days to chat with us. Be sure to follow us on your preferred social platforms to be notified of new episodes. Next time, we'll be talking about the rise of Mexican food in Canada.
everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.